One thing which we can see in the market right now is that it is going to test who is strong enough. In terms of price action, it's not doing much. We are still inside that pattern. We haven't moved here and there. We are still inside that. Whether that's XRP, whether that's BTC, it's all here. But on the front of macro, it's entirely different. There's a lot happening. Some suggest you like, okay, the bottom can be in and you're going higher. Some actually suggest like a worst of the worst is going to come. So what is it? How is things moving? If you remember, we talked about this again and again, saying fiats are going in trouble. So people are moving out of fiat into different assets. And right now, crypto is one of them. I'm not saying they're moving everywhere. If you have seen this in last video, we discussed about that, right? And the chances here showcase that there is going to be a big run. And if we look at that in terms of crypto, and then in terms of XRP, this is what we can see. As I've been discussing, this clearly shows anyone who is in XRP right now need to think about something where dollar has been topping with around a 30% move in dollar is not small. And XRP started bouncing at a time when dollar got resisted and rejected at a long-term trend line resistance. Now, this is really important to keep your mind on, aligned and focused on, because if XRP is pulling the next big thing from here, you should not, or you should never say, I didn't know that was coming. It shouldn't be like that. This is the scientific investor family, where the normal common retail guys learn how to become the world's top 10%. We are all moving towards that route where we want to know how much you actually need to be in the top 10%. We have detailed that in one of the video, right? And I'll link that here, don't worry. And if you're already there, now we are in for top 5%, top 1%, but you are in the right direction. Look at this. Even when the market is down, even when the sentiment is low, you still see $1 billion moving in the crypto exchanges. You still actually see $1.4 billion moving in and around just one stable coin. So when you go into the crypto market, you'll see like, okay, that's the biggest stable coin there. Right now, it accounts for a lot. And if you look at the volume in Ether, it was like, 18 billion. Right now, it's like 6 billion. So you have seen massive volatility in terms of the volume, money coming in, money going out. Why is all of this happening? There is a lot in macro which you need to take a look at, because that actually gives you one idea of what's happening right now and what you can think of next 3 months, what you can imagine for next 5 months. But before that, in this month, in next 10 days, 12 days time, you're actually going to get another CPI release, which would completely decide whether the Fed is going for another 50 to 75 basis point hike or 75 to 100 basis points. Because right now, for me, it does not make much sense, but still here, CME actually highlights like, okay, in 31 days, they're going to come out and do this. But as of now, the sentiment is more aligned towards the 75 to 100 basis points. Now I'm like, okay, they have already done the 75s, but do you really think the market can take another 75? Because you are here at a time when the market is already overpriced, 1. 2, on the other side of the interest rates, the 30-year mortgage rate is right now close to 70 in US. Remember, like 1.5, 2 years before was 2.5, 3%. So right now that reaching 7% means the monthly payment which you owe the bank is now skyrocketing. So you really don't want to mess around with this. Because if that happens, what's going to continue in the market is going to be a lot of liquidations in just the real estate market. So that's going to be a big risk. Great. But when people actually understand, like, okay, that's an issue, and this putting money in the bank itself is becoming a super depreciating step for your work, you are now looking at like, okay, where should I move? And then you see like big corporations actually trying to build in new infrastructure. And if they believe that this is here to stay, going against that wind and saying like, okay, I really don't think it's here to stay, would be hard. Here, this is another perspective where you say like, okay, yeah, people right now have hard time because the central banks have been playing with their decisions. And that is one of the main reason where you see people actually running out of fiats, right? It's kind of highly correlated. When your money in the bank is being depreciated, your purchasing power is being drained, now you want shelter some way. And I'm not saying everyone should come into XRP. I'm saying fundamental assets are in the space and you see fundamental assets staying strong. So now when you see the volume moving up, down and all, you literally have to ask yourself like, okay, there was a weekend and money came in. So it was a weekend and the monthly close where this happened. Right? Now, when you actually read books like this, where you are looking more like probabilities and then having a high thought process regarding what type of black swans are happening, coming in, going, all of these are one by one coming in. So you're actually looking for like different price patterns, the structures in the market and the way it behaves. So when we come in to the XRP, for our case scenario, where we are looking at these, right? And when we literally look at this, you don't have to be surprised, because when the price do fluctuate, you really don't want to be surprised. Why? Right now, when you look at XRP and say like, okay, it is 55% down for the year, it is 55% down. Agreed. But look at Ether, it's 60% down. Look at BTC, it's close to 60% down. So XRP is doing better than others. But you also see like Binance Coin and others which are doing even much better. Now you come on to look at a quarter and then last 30 days and you see like, okay, last 30 days changed the price structure for XRP, which got impacted in this one quarter. And if you know that, we have another move. So this is not going to be a big surprise. You are going to look at the next quarter here as you change, because this quarter just changed the face of what's happening in this year. And one more quarter, which usually is bullish, October, November, December, that's usually bullish for crypto. Now, what we have to look at right now is you can literally go into a daily chart for XRP and then ask this question like, okay, I really want to go back in time and see each time you were entering that October all the way towards the December phase, what did the price actually do? So here the October started. So as October started, you can see the price was trying to go back higher a little bit, not too much, from 0.9 towards 1.39. Okay. When was that happening? After your big run up here and a retest of that where you failed. Great. Now you're going back even below that. And then you see an area where the price actually came a lot lower. You were doing sidewise action, but then the price was dropping after a small run in the September range. Great. You went up in August, September retest, and then you were coming down through the September. Then what happened? From October, you started the accumulation range. Then early November, mid-November, you started breaking higher and you reached the top of that run early December. So that was actually quick price action in that October to December range. Now we are going back even lower. And at that time, the price is moving to the downside because the entire trend was to the downside. So here it's not a big thing to see. It's clear that the price was trending lower and it broke higher, retested and bounced here. So you now have two October to December quarter where things are moving like this. Fine. Now, what you want to look at is after a long range of consolidation and when the price actually breaks a level, what is XRP doing? So here in 2014, you are literally taking this October range where this is the October where you're starting from. And by the time you reach mid-December, your run up is over. Fine. Now you go to the next scenario where you see like October, the price action goes up. That was a wave one for entire crypto market. XRP did not do too much of upside, but it still bounced a little bit. Now, if we take even that small of a bounce, which is going to be 130%, right now, you are going to see a test of $1. But that's not only it. You are here, and if you move above 0.5, you now break a long-term resistance range. Fine. So one thing which we understand from XRP is whenever the price is trending higher, having a higher high, higher low pattern, you in the October to December territory, you run higher. Now, when it is just at the start of a trend, you drop, but you still continue that momentum to the upside as a new trend. So what we can look at in that case, now, if this history is repeating, what we are looking at is here, one high, which XRP actually put in. You zoom in to get more clarity on that trend. And as you look at this, we clearly understand like, okay, fine, XRP actually put in another low here, a higher high here. But the key here is as you trend higher, as you make higher highs consistently and move higher, you also had a trend line which was forming. So this kind of gives you an idea of what the price actually did, right? So here, yes, it was not the absolute top which you got, but it was still kind of moving close and above that. You can consider that as a median where the price goes above that and come below that. You can just look at the moving average for that matter. The moving average was below this, then it tried to go above that, got rejected, came lower, then went above that, right? Now, if you take the same concept and drop that here, this is what we are looking at. But we already understood that when we go up, you are going to get a fake out, maybe somewhere here, $1 towards $1.40, great. And then you come a little bit lower and then you bounce. And that next one can be close to the previous high or just above that. So these are all short-term fluctuations which we are talking about, where the trend is your friend and you are looking for this to come and happen in October to December range. Now, that's the conservative stuff we are talking about, close towards $2. But right now, if you remember what we talked about, what is the upside for each run? You get that, right? Easily, you can do that one by one throughout each phase of XRP inside its short-term movement in this last 1 or 2 years. And then you end up with the scenario of, say, if it is a medium term which you are eyeing at, then you are literally looking at a movement towards $6 to $8 range. Fine. Now, right now, if you say like, okay, this is the recent top which we made, then you are going to actually do the same here. You don't change anything. And you say like, okay, right now, based on what I'm seeing, I can say like, okay, the first one was 2.618. So the next one is most likely going to be just above that. And the third one close to 3.618. This is kind of the correlation which happened last time. So now we want to see whether we bottomed here or we are going to bottom coming back to the 0.4 range. But right now, the price had made a bottom of 0.42 or close to that, which shows you price can come towards 0.9 towards $1. Now we literally discussed about this detail before. So now when you correct after that, it is another key for you to look at. When you run up and then come back down, your support range is going to be that 1.618 range. So that can be 0.65 range. And you zoom out in history and see where that 0.656 range comes in. You see this one. That's a long-term support range. So basically, what we are eyeing in the price action is another move to the upside. So if the price goes down, I'm wrong, agreed. But if this is what we are looking at, that's another 100% move in XRP. So great. You can say like, okay, don't be an XRP maxi. Fine. What we do is go to look at a highly correlated asset. It can be XLM, it can be IOTA, it can be, different large cap coins which are, which have been there from a long time. So when you actually look at these in terms of pattern first, what you identify easily is like, okay, it's actually forming a rounded bottom. Usually rounded bottom actually suggests that the price can go higher. But this depends on where that pattern is forming. If that pattern is forming after a long run up somewhere in the sky, no, it's going to come back down. But if it's coming down, the price is dropping and it is at a long-term support range, then you need to ask that question like, okay, am I actually really saying like this range is not the support? Am I actually saying like, okay, this range cannot push the price up? Because this is all your judgment. Right now, the price is here. You just extend this and see what was the price action historically at this level. Here, you saw traders and investors entering into this asset, trying to push this back up, where you actually got and was head and shoulder, but got rejected. Why? That was the trend to the downside, and this trend line was not broken. You tried to break that one, but the price got rejected. So even though you got a breakout here in the short-term pattern, the long-term, the higher time frame, pushed the price lower. Fine. Now, this time around, your higher time frame structure comes close to this one. So if you actually zoom in on this, say XLM, to take that point to say like, okay, whether we are somewhere close to the truth or we are way far from that, this is what we are looking at right now. It does not actually feel like we are way far from the resistance. We are close to the resistance range. So with this rounded bottom happening here, we should see a breakout first. If not, now you're going back to retest this bottom. Now, as of now, that won't be a huge drop. You have first level of support here. But remember, inside this market where you already dropped 80-90%, 70% fluctuation will not be big. But if your average is above and that drop comes in, now that actually helps you to average down. Great. Now what you are going to look at is ask that same question. Do you see this one following XRP and running higher? Because right now on a weekly, it's about its 20-day moving average. And when that comes in, after you make a reversal pattern, usually that shows there is going to be a probability, which has a high probability, not a small one, that it's going to reach your measured move. So here the measured move is close to 28-29%. You just plot that and you say like, okay, 28% comes somewhere close here. So from now, the price has an ability to retest this range. Great. And when the price is retesting that particular range, you are trying to see whether we are breaking through this resistance. Now, this is what we talked about in XRP as well. So now you actually look at Bitcoin in general, going just on a daily chart, and look at this. The possibility of this one forming a long-term double bottom is actually huge. But what we want to see is that it actually does that. We get a confirmation because that is mandatory. Because this range, yes, it is a key support. It's trying to make a reversal pattern. But if you really don't get a breakout and you break to the downside, now that's going to be bearish. Because this is going to be your support in the RSI, the strength, which is now not looking that bad. And right now we can argue that point like, okay, we are trying to get a new trend and we have already broken this level of trend. But last time we went about that, we came back down immediately. So that was kind of a fake out. Now we are literally waiting for a breakout here, which is like last 600, 700 days being raised, and that can push the price up. What he's talking about is money moving into crypto. In that sense, I agree. You are going to see that as you see bonds moving like, shit coins, volatility coming in. Yes, you are literally going to observe people looking at crypto as an alternative to different assets. So inside that, it won't just be Bitcoin for sure. Right now, inside the market, you will come here and you will look at all the other coins which have a lot of liquidity and which is still in top 10, 20, 25 range. Dollar is getting rejected. We have hope. We do have hope. We are hoping that dollar comes back down as we open this week. We have talked and discussed clearly about what the dollar is doing and what we can look forward to. And that when you come back into the crypto market and see like, okay, dollar literally can come back a little bit more. You are looking for crypto market to bounce. Now, this is going to be another game of patience where you see not ultra long term, but short term movements in macro impacting your portfolio, impacting the crypto. So if you are here and you are kind of, having that ability to see what is happening and trying to rebalance here and there, because there were some positions which we had to move out because the price was starting to break that trend line, which we were holding on and going up. We traded through that trend line till the top. Now it's breaking out. We are moving up. Fine. But you also have other assets which is slowly trying to start a trend. So if you are getting that confirmation, it is breaking higher with a new trend. Now basically we enter there, right? So if you are looking for that kind of updates where we enter, which one we exited and all those, look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. This is October. October, November, December historically has been good for crypto. And if you can make money trading during that time, it's going to give you a better risk tolerance level because you see the market slowly going back up and you have different options in great assets, not just one or two assets. You can literally have options of 5, 10, 15 great portfolio assets inside crypto. So guys, if you are receiving value for your time, please do hit that like and subscribe button. I'll meet you on the next video. Bye-bye.